Hey guys, welcome to Realization Hub. My name is Michelle Corazao-Dinu. I'm an intuitive counselor, energy healer, and channeler who loves to bridge the gap between the unseen world of spirit, consciousness, energy, and intuition. Today's video is an energy update for March 2024. I thought it'd be nice to take you on a hike with me and talk about the energy update on one of my favorite hikes, but the weather has had a different plan. It is absolutely dreary outside right now. It's pretty wet and rainy. And so my idea of taking you on a hike with me has been a little bit watered down.
Okay, just kidding. We are going for a hike. It stopped sprinkling and raining, and so I'm doing it.
Oh, hill trail.
So thank you for coming with me. We're going into the forest. Okay. Walking on a lava trail. All right, so first, I want to say one of the themes that I'm noticing this month energetically is about sensitives. What do I mean by sensitives? I mean sensitives, the dreamers of our world, the people that reimagine our world, spiritual people that are tapped into the spiritual world and the spiritual realms and our multidimensional realities. Sensitives that are sensitive to energy. Sensitives that are healers. Sensitives that are intuitives. Sensitives that are creatives. This month is going to be an important month for you. Why do I say that? Well, I'm gonna again have to talk to you in a lot of different layers because there's a lot happening for those types of people. I feel like there's an emphasis on those types of people. Okay, so where do I want to start? I feel that let's address the sensitives right now. I'm just going to call you guys the sensitives. You know, maybe like the spiritual awakened sensitives. So that's going to refer to you guys like that. You guys have you've been through a lot. Okay, like you're truly gifted in many ways. You've done a lot of work for yourself on these spiritual, intuitive, healing levels, creative levels. But in some ways it's been a little bit aimless. You know, maybe for some, this doesn't apply to everyone, but I'm talking about the collective of these sensitives, particular group of people here. And, you know, they've come into this world with a type of purpose to bring meaning to the spiritual world, to experience the spiritual world, to go through their own connection to the spiritual world, to their inner world, to their own healing, their own creativity, their own intuitive journey. Okay, and so they've really come to an enlightened state with it. You know, they've taken it to, you know, they've gone through an enlightenment process. And they've gone through lots of experiences with it, and it has yet to really manifest in their physical worlds, you know, as something that provides physical security, physical wealth, physical manifestations, stability, long-term results. Okay, so a lot of those people out there are a little bit dampened because of that. You know, in some ways, you know, I'm kind of hearing some of them kind of like, what the fuck? You know, I've like done all this spiritual growth and healing and you know, honoring this side of myself and really diving into it, and like it's getting me nowhere and everything that I dreamed up is not happening, and everything that I thought would happen is not happening. And how do I make it real? Like, how do I make it into a physical manifested experience that I feel that I can enjoy, that I can have a sensual experience with it in the physical world. And so I feel like we step into March kind of opening up to a very grand perspective of a real way that these sensitives can contribute and develop their dreams in the world. And there might be some enthusiasm or some lightheartedness or kind of a positive or optimistic perspective that starts to open up, you know, where we're not seeing the details necessarily of how we're going to make it happen, how we're going to build something, how we're going to make something real that has just been kind of in the ethers, but we are going to get a broad perspective on that. And, you know, something that feels very raw right now, like a raw dream, like getting a broad perspective on the area of which we can start to really cultivate and develop something and build something. Turn something that's very raw to something that's actually very real and grounded and in physical reality, and not just practical, but like it brings us material gain. You know, it brings us material values. It brings us wealth. It brings us connection with, you know, the dream and the reality, bringing the dreams into reality, right? So we open up the month with that energy, and I'll just have to say that throughout the month, there are going to be moments where we are conflicted, moments where we hit a point of tension within ourselves, and moments where there's like a contraction that happens because of that internal conflict. And the pressure to change things that maybe we don't want to change, that we've been stubborn to change. And kind of having a dialogue with that within ourselves. You know, the parts of us that used to value certain things, that used to get things done a certain way, parts of us that are more attached to the instant results or the fast way of creating something, versus the parts of us that will be speaking up this month, that are saying, hey, we need to do this sustainably. We need to do this practically. We need to do this for long-term results. We need to do this in a way that's secure and stable. We need to do this in a way that is harmonious. We need to do this in a way that's natural. And so there's kind of like a energetic breeze that can come in suddenly, you know, throughout the month, that is initiating change. It's actually forcing us to change. You know, and these parts of us that need to change, you know, may have gotten a little too comfortable, gotten a little too stubborn, gotten a little too fixed in our ways. Okay, and we're going to be kind of having these shifts throughout the month that pivot us in the direction of change that we need to go in. And so we are going to be confronting our values this month. We're going to be confronting our values in society, in humanity, in the collective, in groups of people, groups that we're involved in. We're going to be confronting those values. And, you know, we might be looking at those values and saying, hey, I've really had certain beliefs or a certain way of thinking that we've all kind of been debating, going back and forth on. You know, how do we make decisions as a society? How do we make decisions as a whole? Like, how do we make diplomatic decisions? How do we make fair decisions? How do we make just decisions? You know, how do we bring justice to some of the things that are happening in society, in humanity? And like, are we just going to keep debating intellectually? Are we just going to keep, you know, blabbing our mouths and talking the talk and like not actually arriving to like a real freaking decision about what we're going to do for real? Like, to address some of these major issues and imbalances of power and, you know, all kinds of things, right? Like, that's gonna come up to the surface. You know, where can we value not just the intellectual perspective and the new intellectual perspectives, but how can we make it real? How can we get it grounded? How can we bring it down? How can we bring the actual change here? You know, how can we take it from something that's just this intellectual debate to something that really starts to change? So that is an energy coming up this month. And at the same time, you know, so we're addressing our values. We're also addressing, you know, this conflict that's brewing, you know, and we need change now. We want results now. We want instant results. And we're willing to fight for it. And we're willing to break through challenges for it. And, you know, we just need to get it done. You know, we just got to move through it. We, you know, that kind of energy is coming up. But another thing that's coming up is, yeah, but there's this higher perspective. Okay, that motivation that wants instant results now, it's coming from tunnel vision. It's coming from the mind. It's not connected to the bigger transformation that's happening, the bigger evolution that's happening. And so then we get these reminders of what real change looks like. You could put a Band-Aid on something and say, okay, it's resolved now. Or you can actually do real change, you know, deep change. And that's what's happening, you know, overall, is we're being asked to do real, deep change. And we are going to address some shadowy stuff in the world and in the collective. And we are going to confront major power imbalances, and we are going to integrate our power imbalances as a collective. I mean, this issue of power imbalances, it's currently being projected outside into society. You know, we've got these elite people, these people with lots of money, the billionaires, the people with power, and they're taking over, and it's just this big power mess, right? But collectively, we're being asked to do the work on an individual level. You know, like, where are we giving our power away individually in our relationships? Where are we playing that out within us? Real transformation. Real transformation, it comes from it comes from you doing it within you. Okay, so if you want things to change outside of you, you have to change it within you for real on a deep level. Otherwise, it's just going to keep playing out and playing out and playing out and being projected in the outer world in some distorted way. Right? And so the collective is confronting, like this big power game that really manipulates humanity and really takes advantage of humanity and really brings a lot of trauma to humanity. I mean, how much trauma has humanity have just within the last 10 years? Like, so much trauma, right? And the way humanity is being handled, it's not working, right? So although we have this huge collective issue happening right now, we are being asked this month to do individual healing. Where are we doing that to ourselves? Where is that playing out in our intimate relationships? Where is that playing out relationally in our own individual experience? Okay, so there's a big theme around healing this month, and healing us as individuals and how we relate to others. And a part of that healing is going deep and finding your value as an individual. You're not, especially for these sensitives, like, it's time. This month, it's time for you to start a new experience with what you're here to do. And, there will be some changes in values from not just this emphasis on humanity and all the shit going on with humanity, but also this month there will be some insight into how we reimagine the world, what the world really needs. How can we come together? How can we come together, and how can we have peace, together, harmony together? How can we have empathy with one another? How can we heal? How can we understand each other? And as much as we could jump into that kumbaya kind of circle and just hold hands and sing hippie songs, which is not wrong. I thoroughly enjoy holding hands and singing hippie songs. But what I mean by that is we're being called to do the work individually. And there is going to be a new emphasis on doing the work spiritually, not just dipping into the spiritual world in shallow ways like a kiddie pool. I'm playing with my tarot cards here, and I'm going to my yoga class here, and doing journaling here, and I took a workshop this year, and I'm meditating once a month, and that's really like a very kind of kiddie pool, kind of shallow experience of the spiritual world. And again, no judgment, just saying that's kind of where we're at on the planet right now as far as like the value of the spiritual world. And what's starting this month is that there's some dark shit that is rising, within us as individuals, within the collective, within the world. And people are feeling it. And people are kind of like, crap. I got to do something about this. Like, the same old solutions aren't working. I can't just slap a Band-Aid on it. You know, I have to actually do the real work, you know, and there is a mountain that is calling us. Okay. There's a mountain to climb, you know, and it's the spiritual world. And it has a side to it that is dark. Spirituality is not just, I feel better and I feel peaceful right now. And I'm so glad I meditated because now my mind is more relaxed and I feel better. And, you know, I'm at more peace with the situation. Spirituality is also like in fetal position, shaking and crying because you are moving through some of the most painful and dark experiences inside of you that you didn't even know were there. Sometimes that is what spirituality is. It can be dark. It can be very challenging. And embodying the spiritual world is not just a walk in the park. You are constantly encountering your old patterns, your old issues, your old imbalances, and having to stay conscious through those experiences and embody new behavior until it becomes natural, until it becomes integrated, right? And so that's what's starting this month is, can we stop playing in the shallow pool of the spiritual worlds? And can we actually do the real work that takes time? And we're talking like 10, 15, 20 years kind of time. And can you do that step by step and embrace this mountain of growth, this mountain of coming to your spiritual heights in a very profound way, but in a very embodied way, in a very real way, where you're not just bypassing your human experience and sitting on the top of a mountain somewhere outside of society and not dealing with your shit. You're actually in society, going through your enlightenment, embodying it, making it real, and impacting the world in a new way. Like that is starting this month. It's starting this month. And so this month, those sensitives that are here to do that are here to actually be teachers, here to actually be real guides for that, here to hold space for that, here to help people heal, help people transform, help people connect, help people do that work. Those people this month, you will be coming into some downloads, some insight, some understanding, some perspectives about what you're here to do, your purpose now. You've already finished a type of purpose, okay? You're finishing up a purpose, and that was for you to go through your experience, okay? Your experience of healing, your experience of spirituality, you climbing that mountain, okay? You coming into your gifts, you developing your gifts, you practicing your gifts, you practicing over and over and over again. You coming into your wisdom, you going through the embodiment experience, you doing it for real, for you. Okay, and now this month, for those sensitives that have done that work, I'm not talking about people who are starting the work. I'm talking about the people that have been doing this for 15 to 20 years. Okay? Those people, and I'm not trying to limit anyone here, but I'm just kind of circling a broad group of people, okay? So take it with a grain of salt. But those people that have had their personal journey, that have gone deep with their spirituality, that have done the work, and those people, this month is an opening to how they're going to bring that in the world. You're starting, in some way, you're starting a new life purpose this month around how you're really going to do that in the world, how you're going to be a teacher in the world, how you're going to be a guide in the world, how you're going to be a healer in the world, how you're going to be a messenger in the world, how you're going to reimagine the world, how you are going to create in this world, bring your creations to the world, how you're going to do that. And maybe not even how is not the right word for it, but come into the realization, the insight, the perspectives of where you need to go, like the general direction, you know, and allowing these shifts to occur, these changes to occur, to say, okay, you're done with that experience. Don't get too comfortable there, because now you're going to take it out into the world in a real way, and you're going to build it, and it might take some time, and you want to do it in a stable way. You want to do it in a natural way. You want to do it in a harmonious way. But you do need to change. You need to change some things. You need to embody it in society. Okay, you've embodied it maybe for you, but now you need to embody it in society. And you deserve for your gifts to be seen. You deserve to offer those gifts to other people and help other people in society because you care so much about that. And you also deserve to make money for it. You also deserve to be abundant for it. You deserve that. And so, can you really do it? So this month will be a lot of coming into those perspectives and receiving downloads around that. And to really starting, it's kind of like when you have those moments where like, okay, this dream is possible. You know, we're making these dreams possible. They're not just dreams anymore. They're happening. They're starting to happen. It's really happening. But there's going to be a crux to this month where you do have to address that you are different. You know, you have to address that not everyone's going to like you. You have to address that this world is fucking rough right now. And you're sensitive. And you have to heal. So that when you go out there and you offer your gifts to the world and you do the real work with people who's starting to take it seriously, that you don't just get ripped to fucking shreds. You have to develop a backbone. You have to realize, I can't take that personally. You have to realize the difference between someone that really values you and someone that's just messing around with you. There's a lot of healing to do as an individual so that you can show up in your relationships where you are taken care of, where it works for you. So that when you work with others, it's going to work. It's not just going to overwhelm you. It's not just going to tear you apart. You need long-term results, sustainable results. Okay, so we are going to be confronting that side of us that just wants it now, and that side of us that has the higher perspective, the higher intelligence that we cannot comprehend, that is taking us through an experience so that we can actually show up in the world in our new purpose for this time on the planet that is going through a huge transformation. And a part of that transformation is you know, for a large group of people, is spiritual awakening. You know, a type of awakening. And people not knowing how to deal with their minds. People not knowing how to deal with their emotions. People not knowing what it means to do shadow work and integrate some dark shit. And also people that don't understand what a growth period is. Spiritual detox and energy detox. You know, they're going to think they're going crazy. They're going to think they're all alone. And you know what? This world is not built to support them right now. So they need people out there to hold them. They need people out there to remind them. They need people out there to distract them. They need people out there to support them in real freaking ways. Okay. So it's a big month for those sensitives. Things are starting to come into clarity, come into motion. And it includes change, and it includes healing. And so this month, I'm just going to throw it out there. There's a high probability people are going to be dealing with their inner child this month, a very innocent part of them, maybe a naive part of them, maybe a part of them that really thought that their dreams were going to come in a certain way. Maybe a naive kind of type of thinking, like, oh, I thought my dreams were just going to happen easily for me, fall into my lap, happen magically in a fantasy-like way, right? And those people, yeah, might get a bit of a reality check of, oh, I'm a little bit uncomfortable because, like, it actually might take longer. It might actually require me to do some work. It might actually require me not to spiritually bypass my human experience and actually deal with some stuff. Deal with some of this stuff. Deal with some of this stuff in my relationships. Deal with some of this stuff in society. Deal with some of this stuff in my life that I'm not dealing with. So there will be some reality checks around our fantasies and how to make things very real. And how we do that through hard work. And I know, I hear some of you like, hard work, blah, 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 blah. I'll just remind you guys that are shitting on hard work. There is wisdom in everything. And trust me, I understand that things can happen magically. I understand that things can happen with ease. I understand things can fall in our laps. I understand things can be synchronistic and spontaneous. And that I'm not saying that there won't be any of that happening. But I am saying, someone, from me, I'm not going to, I'm bringing in my medicine here, my wisdom here, okay, from my real experiences, and discipline can give you real freedom. Hard work can give you real freedom. Hard work, discipline, and I'm not talking about hard work as in you're suffering. I'm talking about showing up for yourself, okay? Showing up for yourself. Showing up for the present moment. Showing up for what's coming up and really dealing with it in a real way. Showing up for yourself, having the discipline to show up. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about painstaking hard work. For some of you, it might be like that, but what I really wanted to say about hard work is that, to me, putting in the work is what got me from where I was to where I want to be. It is a vehicle of transformation. And all it requires is consistency and showing up for yourself. And if you do that, you can transform yourself or anything that you bring your presence to. That's what I mean by hard work. I'm talking about the work of transformation. Okay, and this world is about to go through it. some big transformation, and they're going to need people who support them, who've done it, who understand it, and who can carry them through that process. And, that's kind of what's brewing this month. Kind of like a beginning of that. There's a lot starting to kind of close out around, these sensitives and what they've been doing in their human experience up until now. And that purpose has been more focused on themselves. And now there's a new beginning that's starting where that purpose gets taken out into the world. And all that spiritual work that they did is no longer just for them. It's how they contribute it to the world as well. In real ways. So this month is shifty. Your relationships will come under the spotlight in some way. There may be lots of questions coming up of how is this relationship working for me and supporting me, and how's this relationship not working for me, not supporting me? And a lot of the answers to that question are going to be answered in the form of real healing, deep healing, individual healing, gradual changes, sudden changes, long-term changes, practical changes, grounded changes, natural changes. Embracing the sudden shifts that take you into a new direction. It's kind of like if you're driving across the country and you're on an interstate that goes from east to west. And, there's this exit onto another interstate that goes northeast and southwest. And you get on that exit. And at first it doesn't feel like you're going in a new direction. But over time, it really does take you into a totally different direction. That's what I'm talking about. That's the energy of this month. And from here, I will wrap up this energy update. I hope you enjoyed it. I've been hiking. It hasn't been raining on me. And I've enjoyed taking you on this hike. And I hope you have a lovely month. Take care.
Another announcement that I want to make is that I am offering group sessions on a monthly basis. I've been doing this for about 2 or 3 years now. And I've currently started a new series called The Wisdom of the Heart, where I am working with Yeshua to do some channeled messages and some group energy healings. And the topic that we're talking about is about how we communicate with our soul and all the ways that we can open up to true communication with our own divinity. Those messages will be continuing over the next year. You can sign up for that on a monthly basis, or you can sign up for a group subscription. I also include a live guided meditation each month, and I'm usually picking a topic that correlates to some of the energies that we may be dealing with on a monthly basis, whatever may be coming up for the Realization Hub community, or whatever may be coming up in the world that can be addressed in a meditation. So the Nest Haven is what I call it. These are my group sessions, and they're really here to give you a safe space to relax and receive and allow shifts and healing and rebalancing to occur. If you're ever interested in that, always have those links for the group sessions down below. Would love to see you there.